When's a full face helmet better than an open face helmet? That's what we're going to discuss today as I review the Shoei Glamster helmet. I've done about 1,000 kilometers with this full face helmet now, so it's time to discuss the pros and cons, especially how much noise it makes, which I'll tell you at the end. Let's get into it. Put in the comments, do you wear a full face helmet, an open face helmet on your Harley? Why? And when, if ever, do you change? So this is the new version of the Shoei Glamster. The first thing to realise is it meets the new European safety standards. What that means is it's a little bit heavier and it's a little bit bigger, not really noticeable, than the old version of this helmet. When I bought this helmet earlier this year, I did try and look for the older version, which I thought might make a difference in terms of lightness and size, but there were none around in the shops that I could see. So those of you who are into safety, this is a safe helmet. Your head's important. Hi, my name's Eamon. Welcome to the channel. Don't forget to check out the website oldnotdead.club. Grab yourself some awesome supporter gear. Show the world you're old and not dead. One of the main reasons I picked this helmet is because I intend to wear it on a Harley. These retro helmets are absolutely perfect for wearing on a Harley. They look good, and in my opinion, they look better than the more modern looking helmets. Now, the beautiful thing about retro helmets is it's actually got a lower profile, so it sort of sits lower, and it's literally smaller than a lot of helmets. And normally I wear an open face helmet. You really do have a lot of vision when you're wearing an open face helmet. You can pretty much see everything. There's nothing at all blocking your vision. Sometimes on full face helmets, it sort of half blocks your peripheral vision. With this helmet, you do have a wide field of view, so it's very similar to wearing an open face helmet. Even the chin guard's quite low, so looking down, it doesn't obstruct your vision at all. I love it. It's a retro helmet, so it has a great design. I'd call it a low profile design. A lot of these helmets are absolutely huge, especially if you're a big bloke and you're taking the larger sizes. This one sits low. You'd probably call it a slim design. A slim profile. Now, I've had lots of helmets from top of the line AGV helmets all the way down to you're not supposed to wear them helmets. But having said that, my preference is for an open face helmet, and that's what I wear 90% of the time. So bear that in mind if you're using this review to purchase a full face helmet. I've got a bias. Now, you don't get a tinted visor as standard with the helmet. That's an extra. You get a normal clear helmet. You got to remember with a tinted visor, you can't see anything at night. But you do get a pin lock in the box. Pin lock, for those that have never used one, stops your visor from fogging up. It's basically another layer that you put on the inside of your visor, which traps a little bit of air and stops your visor from fogging. It does work. And without the pin lock, this visor does fog up a lot, and that's because there is one big negative to this helmet, which I'll discuss at the end. Now, the helmet's got pretty good venting. It's not straight through venting, so if you're looking for a helmet where the air just goes straight through and blows all around the place, this is not it. The vents go into the cushioning, so the air is sort of muffled, but it does give you good ventilation. It's unlikely that I'm going to wear this helmet in summer, so I'm not really looking for ventilation, but it's certainly ventilated. But don't forget, you can't close the vents that are on the chin guard. There is a vent here at the top that opens and closes. Personally, I never use it because for me, this is a winter helmet. And it's freezing. It's freezing here in Melbourne. And that's what's interesting about the chin vents. Even though they don't close and I'm wearing the helmet in the middle of a Melbourne winter, it's just the right amount of air to not be too cold, but give a little bit of ventilation. What I did was I walked up and down the aisles and I picked up the helmets to see what was heavy and what was light. Personally, I never buy a heavy helmet. If you're on your bike riding for a long period of time, that extra little bit of weight does add up over time. So what I did was I walked up and down the aisle looking at helmets, picking them up, and this helmet was noticeably lighter, perhaps not as light as some of the top of the range helmets, but in particular in the retro category, this helmet is incredibly light. As soon as you pick it up, you notice it, and it's a winner. With an open face helmet, I'm used to a lot of noise. I wear earplugs with this particular open face helmet that I wear most of the time. It's also a Shoei. What I've found with this helmet is it's reasonably quiet, relatively speaking. It's a lot quieter than a Shoei X0, which I've also got, which gives way more ventilation, but way more noise, probably because the visor doesn't fully cover the opening. So I'd consider the Glamster a quiet helmet, but bear in mind, I'm used to a lot of noise on the bike. There is no way known I need to wear earplugs with this helmet, so I'm giving it good marks for being quiet. And I'm also going to give it good marks for being comfortable. But let's keep something in mind. All of these comments are very subjective. Different brands of helmets fit different head shapes. So when I say this helmet is comfortable, that's because Shoeis always fit me. Some other brands don't. So keep that in mind. And when I say this helmet is quiet, you've got to remember that's for my particular setup on a Harley Davidson Street Glide. The wind and the buffeting, it's different on different types of motorcycles. Makes it very hard to give an objective comparison. I've got another full face helmet that I wear a lot on a sports bike. I can't wear it at all on a Harley. I won't mention the brand because there's nothing wrong with it. I just can't wear it on a Harley. It just makes my head go bang, 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 bang. This one's fine, and I deliberately looked for, it's probably because it's got vents on the top of the helmet. It's designed for leaning over and looking up. I deliberately looked for a helmet that's got a smoother top, and that seems to have made the difference. Really, the two main negatives with this helmet are the visor fogs up incredibly fast, but they do give you a pin lock with it. Now with this particular helmet, you can open it slightly to break the seal, and it does let a little bit of air in, which I like when I'm riding slow, but it doesn't have a ratcheting system. So I can't sort of hold it in different positions. And a lot of the time when it's up and you start riding, it doesn't take much speed to smash this visor down. And that's really the only negative. It would be fantastic if it had a ratcheting system that would enable you to hold that visor in different positions, depending on what you want to do at the time. And I guess that brings me to another point. The system for taking the visor off requires a screwdriver. It's not really a big deal, but I've seen better systems. But none of those things are deal breakers. Like I said, I bought this helmet because of the way it looks, the fact that it's comfortable, and the fact that it is light and not very noisy. So full face versus open face. I wear open face most of the time, 90% of the time, in particular. The only time I wear a full face helmet is in winter, in particular if it's a long ride, over 45 minutes each way. Switch to a full face because it really does get cold here. Also, if I think it's going to rain, a full face is a much better idea. Those of you who have ridden in the rain with one of these. It's fun. You can put a mask on, that's fine, but it really depends on how much rain and how cold it gets. And then sometimes in the middle of summer, if I'm going to ride all day, say it's a long ride, 10, 12 hour day of riding, and it's really hot, I just get burnt to a crisp in this. So a full face helmet can be pretty handy. I love open face. So if you like today's video, don't forget to check out other reviews on the channel. I'll link them up here.